You've been writing about work, technology, progress, capitalism, leisure time, all kind of interwoven together, and this new thing that you call workism. So what the heck is workism?
Yeah, workism is an idea that I had maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where I saw that a lot of people who were middle class, upper middle class, this is the managerial elite of America, who very often had fallen out of love with organized religion, had, in an age where religiosity had declined, made work their religion. So what does that mean? People say, X is a religion all the time. Well, I think that historically, a lot of things that people have sought from organized religion, like meaning, community, transcendence, self-actualization, a lot of those things are virtues that people seek explicitly from their jobs. And I became very interested in the degree to which work had seemed to replace God in many people's lives. And I think that there are some ways in which this is not all bad. It's clearly better to enjoy your job than to not enjoy your job. But at the same time, as I wrote in the piece, I think a lot of people essentially made their desks their altars. They asked for much more out of work than work was prepared to give them, and that it was becoming a source of both quiet individual misery and broader systemic berserkness. And so we can go into each of those, but I saw these issues sort of coming out of this fundamental issue that people had essentially made work their religion.
Well, certainly the decline of religiosity has been well documented. And I had a guy on the pod named Arthur Brooks who thinks that politics has kind of supplanted organized religion for a lot of folks. And he likened cable news talking heads to essentially preachers, idols, if you will. And I think work has occupied this place for a lot of people. I confess that I had some ambivalence when I was reading your description of workism, because I'm probably a workist myself, and I think that you actually described and said, "Look, I might be guilty of this even as I'm describing it."
Yeah, I think I confess to being a potential or full-blown workist in the essay. I absolutely put work many times at the center of my life. I absolutely often will have a day determined in ways I don't feel good about by whether or not things went well at work. That, when I'm with my friends, when I'm with my wife, I will be in a good mood or a bad mood based almost explicitly on what just happened to me in my job in the previous hour. And the truth is, diagnosis must come before the cure. And I wanted to, when I wrote this piece, essentially see that part of myself, see it clearly and say, is this a part of me that I want to be a part of me? Is it a part of me that I'm proud of? Or is this a value in my life that I would like to downshift a bit? Because, and this goes a little bit philosophically toward the difference between work as a religion, and even frankly politics as a religion, or actual religion, faith in God as a religion. Work falsifies you all the time. Work has negative feedback loops all the time. People have good days and bad days at work. And so it's hard to put your sense of self in the hands of another, in the hands essentially of a boss or the market. When you make, political interest your religion, when you make actual faith in God your religion, you can sort of worship that from afar without ever being, explicitly castigated by a boss, right? And so there's ways in which I think that the kind of workism that we develop, this kind of faith in work, can actually be really sickening, because again, these jobs were not created to necessarily fill us with self-actualization. These jobs are very often created in order to just be jobs. And so I'm afraid of people that place too much emphasis in their work.
Hey YouTube, glad you're enjoying the podcast. If you really like it, hit subscribe, and then YouTube will notify you every time we have a bang up new guest. Thank you.